Okay, the Lions have a guy coming back from injury this season that I'm really excited about. Not enough people are talking about. Now, the nice thing about having a ton of injuries is that those guys come back, right? I mean, we take injuries for granted, like, oh, he'll be back. It's not always that easy, but it is nice to know that, hey, that's right. We've got some guys that have been injured that we've kind of forgotten about. So let me remind you of the guys that were injured last year that should be playing this year. Charles Harris, Levi, Julian Okwara, Vaitai, Tracy Walker. Even guys like John Kaminsky that was banged up with a hand the whole season. Like he'll be back healthy. Ragnow, hopefully he's healthy. Maybe you saw that video we did concerning injury with his toe, but hopefully he gives that rest and he'll be back to maybe more full speed. Jamison Williams, of course, was injured all last year. We know his story. And then Romeo Okwara as well. Now, Romeo was a guy that was back, but never really back. And he's the guy, Romeo Okwara, that I am really excited about because remember, Romeo Okwara was a undrafted free agent. I guess I didn't realize that. He went to the New York Giants. He played there for 2 years, did pretty well. And then we claimed him off of waivers in 2018. And I think it was like his first game. He had that strip sack fumble or strip sack sack on Aaron Rodgers. Got a fumble recovery. He played in 2018. He played 15 games, 15 starts, had 7.5 sacks in 2018. Just like came out of nowhere. Again, he went to Notre Dame. We know that. We got his brother now, but then he signed in 2019 a 2-year extension with us. Had some really good seasons, and then in 2020, that's when he had his best season. So let's look at his stats here. It's pretty crazy. Just this guy, the potential there. If he hadn't gotten injured, I think there's really something here. So if you look at it, he's 27 years old. So he's a little actually older than I thought, but he's still not. I mean, he's got a couple prime years here that we can really take advantage of and do some good things. So if you look at his stats, which they've kind of gone somewhere, I don't know what happened. Here we go. 2020 is where he had 10 sacks. So he has 10 sacks, and that's when he gets a nice little extension. I think he gets a 3-year extension. Again, this is from the Patricia era, so this is why it's a little unique. Is he really a Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell guy? Don't really know, but he had 10 sacks. And then 2021 and 2022, just dealing with injuries. 2021 was completely lost, and then 2022 he came back a little bit, but just wasn't fully there. Or maybe it's a thing with Dan Campbell. Maybe he's not an Aaron Glenn guy, right? Because he wasn't here, or he got his money and started when he was with Matt Patricia. But you look at the depth chart, all of a sudden they, ESPN, again, this is just kind of just something to put up, but ESPN has him at our starting defensive end across from Aiden Hutchinson, just in your every down packages. Again, this is, we know James Houston's going to be in there. We know that John Kaminsky is going to be in, slide inside, different things like that. But Charles Harris, of course, as well. But you look at our end, our just every down, because James Houston is a pass rush specialist so far. That's what he's shown. Who's our every down end opposite of Aiden Hutchinson? It's Romeo and Charles. I mean, these are a couple veteran guys that have been injured. And by the way, it shows how good Aiden Hutchinson is. First year just comes in and just great. But these two guys have to really be good for us. And they're two guys that were injured that are coming back. So we may have more depth than we realize. But Romeo is the guy that I'm really excited about, and I think could have a really good season. Now, Pride of Detroit, they went on to talk about, hey, which player are you most excited to see from injury? Again, this is Pride of Detroit. They said Tracy Walker. I agree with that because Tracy Walker is a good player that's been on bad teams. And last year was the first, I mean, literally as he goes out, we start winning. And he's almost like never won since he's been in here in Detroit. It's been 2 years with Patricia. And then last year with Dan Campbell, or, in 2021 where we were not good. And then last year and then we start 1-6 and, the whole thing. He has not won he has not been on the field when we're winning. And it's not his fault. I'm just saying that this guy might be a really good player that's just been on bad teams, bad defenses. And I think he is. So if you look at what Pride of Detroit says, they said, hey, look, he's only got a 6.3 $3 million cap hit this year, but next year it doubles. So we're going to keep him around this year, but next year you got to really be something, or otherwise we're going to have to get rid of him. Just plain and simple, because we have Kirby Joseph. We've got some other safeties that we can use. So Pride of Detroit says, look, in front of him now will be Cameron Sutton, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Jerry Jacobs, and Emmanuel Mosley. It looks completely different from him, from what he's been seeing on the field. He's got Kirby Joseph next to him. He's got, there's just going to be some different things that he needs to be able to play at a high level. And can you do that coming off an Achilles? I don't know. I mean, he says he's fine, which is amazing, and I hope he is, but we have a lot of players returning. Let me go back to it right here. Here we go. We have a lot of players coming back from injury. That is awesome. I mean, it is. It's, you forget about it. Vaitai, completely forget about him. Levi and Vaitai are two guys that kind of you're not holding your breath on, because it's back injuries. They're big guys. Not really holding my breath on them. But Charles Harris, let's go. Julian Aquara, let's go. Tracy Walker, let's go. Romeo, John Kaminsky. There's a little under the radar for you. Remember, I mentioned it earlier, he's got the thing on his hand the whole time. And it's not a big deal, but it is really. I mean, you want to be able to use your fingers to do things. So he's going to be back 100%. And we know these guys and other guys will be injured and banged up throughout the season, and we're going to lose somebody. Don't know who it's going to be. We're going to lose somebody for the season. But if you can get Jameson Williams back week 7, if Romeo can come back to full speed. So let me know, who are you most excited to see back from this injury list, and who do you think is most important? More importantly, is who is most important to us. And for me, I think it's Charles Harris and Romeo. We need a defensive end opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, because James Houston, we don't want him out there almost. Hear me out on this. We want him to come in on 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12. That's where we want to just have this fresh James Houston just come waltzing in to the game. And if he plays 10, 15 snaps a game, okay, fine, right? And it's on the biggest plays of the game, 3rd and long, and you can bring in James Houston. That's ideal. We don't really want him out there. He's been playing 3 series, he's been playing possession after possession. Now it's 3rd and long, and he's still out there. I mean, that's not what his specialty is, and that's not why we want him. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, the best way you can help support the channel is to become a member. And check that out below. It's like $2.99 a month just to help us out. So consider becoming a member of the channel. As always, hit subscribe, and we will see all of you on the next one.